In the Gospel of Luke, the verse that really resonates with me is found in the second half of the Gospel, Luke 13, verses 18 through 21. What is the kingdom of God like? It is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in the garden. It grew and became a tree, and the birds of the air made nests in its branches. To what should I compare the kingdom of God? It is like yeast that a woman took and mixed in with 3 measures of flour until all of it was leavened. This particular verse has special meaning to me because it reminds me of a conversation my grandmother and I had a while back about what happens after death. Grandma, what happens when we die? Where do we go? Are we happy there? I remember bombarding my grandmother with these questions when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I could see the frustration on her face, followed by a smirk for my persistence and curiosity. She looked at me and said, "Honey, when I go, you go, or anybody else, God will be waiting for you up in the sky with open arms. It will look like a paradise, bright and sunny, and you will feel no pain. Nobody will feel any pain, and you will forever live in eternal happiness." I had no more questions after that. I lived with my grandma for the first 8 years of my life. My grandmother was a spiritual woman. She attended church every Sunday. She was Baptist. She sang in her choir, participated in activities hosted by the church, and cried every time the congregation sang psalms. She loved and was loved by everyone. Starting in late 2008, my grandmother began getting sick. She was in and out of the hospital for different medical reasons. It wasn't until after I left for college that she stayed in the hospital the most. It was hard not seeing her as animated and lively as I remembered her being. In September of 2009, she had to have open heart surgery. I remember my mom explaining to me that she had to have that procedure done so that she could live. We understood, but whether we said it or not, we were all deeply terrified. The surgery didn't go too well. My grandmother had complications over the months from it, and she passed away on November 6, 2009. I was devastated. It was a hard thing to cope with, and it still is now. But I remember the answers she gave me to all those questions I had asked her as a child. It's comforting to know that she is not in pain. She is happy, she is free, and that is the gift that God gives. That is the reward that follows death. She is no longer hooked up to a life support machine. She has no tubes or wires in her body. She's not being pricked with a needle by a doctor, and she is free of worry and fear. I like to think of her as my angel now.